What's up, market snipers? Good morning. This is Jesse. We're doing our another live stream here, 9 a.m. We're in Orange County, California, and we're not on vacation. We're in the computer lab, and we're continuing to work every day and grind it out and sniper these markets together. So, let me know in the comments. What's up, Rick? Rick's Moneymakers Helton. Let's go, Jesse. Yeah. What's up, Rick? Bitcoin is on the move. Someone told us about this last night. Yeah. Well, you must have watched the video from last night that was sent out through the free newsletter. So glad you saw that. And I've been talking about it on the videos over the last weeks, if not months, of this potential breakdown, first of all, and then a potential, price bounces and builds, you can call it like a right shoulder or, price puts in a lower high, right? So that's what we've been kind of watching, all the way back in August when price is still above $29,000. So it just takes time to play out. And like I said, you can go back and check out I think it was like 8.5-minute video for Bitcoin last night, talking about, the weekly is still bearish. So the overall trend is still bearish. But in the shorter term, there was that pending buy signal on the 8-hour chart. And then there was some bullish divergence on the daily chart. Now we have a reversal candle. I did change the settings. So the standard default settings for, and I showed this in the Discord as well. The standard settings is 30 and 70, but I do change and adjust the settings often on both indicators just to see if there's anything that, is telling us something that, we might not catch on regular default settings. So I changed the settings to 40 and 60. And as you can see, when RSI hasn't been spiking as much, it hasn't been going to those 30 and 70 overbought and oversold levels. So I changed it to 40 and 60, and you can see that now there's a reversal candle here. So if you go to the default settings, you're not going to see these three reversal candles. And if you go back in time and history on the charts, seems like the 30 and 70 is the best, and that's why it's default. But there are certain cases where you change the settings and it might be better in the short term, right? So you've got a reversal candle here, and now it's showing a reversal candle here. Rick, where are you watching from? Comment, everyone, where you're watching the live stream today. And if you're seeing the live stream on, whether you're watching the live stream on YouTube or you're watching the live stream on Twitter, comment on Twitter or comment on, YouTube. Let me know where it's at. I'm trying to watch the live stream on my phone for Twitter. I don't want to clog down the overall stream, so I'm watching on Indiana. Awesome, cool. Brazil. What's up, Dow? Deepak, YouTube. Okay, Deepak, where are you watching it from? YouTube. What part of the world are you? Where are you at? Awesome. Again, so that's Bitcoin, right? So we talked about that, and I've hidden the targets and stuff. So we'll talk about it and get into it. Let's go full screen for that so we can see a little bit better. Arnold, the boss. Arnold, you're on the East Coast, I believe, right? I think you're in Florida, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you're in Florida. So full screen, and India, awesome. So what time is it there in India? It's got to be a whole, maybe it's 9 p.m. there or something like that. So if we view all the drawings and kind of take this off, so we talked about, the reversal candles on different settings. So I kind of mapped out like this. So probably have to zoom it out. Austria, awesome. Tom in Seattle, I could have guessed Seattle. Well, you're always you're always jet setting around the country and vacationing, enjoying the retired years, Tom. So we never know where you're actually at, but the name says it all. You're in Seattle. I think the Seahawks lost. I'm pretty sure they did. The Vikings did too. So sorry for your loss, Tom. It may not be a good year for us. 9:30 p.m. Yep. So basically a 12-hour difference. So cool. So let's dive into Bitcoin a little bit more since we got it up. I know. Well, at least you guys won a championship in your lifetime. The Vikings have never even been to a Super Bowl in my lifetime. So we're talking 44 years. The Vikings have never been to the Super Bowl. So it's been nothing but pain and heartache. And at least two, if not three times in my lifetime, we were in the NFC Championship, and I thought we deserved to be in the Super Bowl, and I thought we were going to win the Super Bowl. But crazy things happen in football, and injuries and stuff like that. Two out of the three times. The third time we got killed by the Eagles. But anyways, it's not a football channel, but I do love to talk about football. Bears. Oh God, Rick, you're feeling the same pain as me, so we'll let that one slide. So we got these longer term targets. This is based off the weekly chart. So let's jump on the weekly chart real fast. And again, no need to dive into this whole move because the video was from last night that you can check out. It talks all about that move. But just a quick zoom out here. You see, we got these longer term targets. But within these longer term targets, we do have these shorter term targets. So I'm going to drop back down to the lower time frames. And you can see that, this target was already hit. So I'm going to change the color on that just so we can keep everything, squared away. So price came down, hit these two targets, right? Now, after bullish divergence and changing the settings on the sharpshooter candles, we've got this reversal candle. And if we get a daily close, back above this trending line that we talked about, that it didn't happen yesterday, that would be, another higher probability that, it is a reversal, at least in the short term. And we could see price come back up and the probabilities continue to stack to hit the second target. So that's really what we're watching. And I drew this out based off of the weekly downward trending line. We'll come into about where this downward trend line is as well. So I drew it out based off that. And also there's a confluence target here. So we've got overhead resistance at this target. We've got the weekly trending line coming down, and we have this price trend line coming down as well, all in that same area. So could see a bounce up into this area, and then we'll see if it will roll over after that. Now, there are other targets, so it does mean that, when there's other targets on there, I could definitely see price coming up, like this, get rejected, come back up, hit this target, and then roll over. And this might trap some more bulls because it looks like a breakout, right? So being aware of that, that it's, whether it hits this target, or this target, all four targets would put in a lower high, right? So that's the main thing. And then if it does break out past this trend line, hits these targets and puts in a lower high, you'll see a lot of people, including ourselves, you'll see a lot of people adjust the trend line, right? So the trend line will be adjusted if it hits those higher targets and makes a higher low. I'm sorry, a lower high. I always do that. Never fails every day. So, so it would be adjusted like that, or it could be adjusted like that, right? So price could come back up, hit all four targets, put in that lower high, and then roll back over and hit that. So I'm not too concerned about that. I'm taking it swing trade by swing trade, right? So that's what I'm seeing on the charts, and that's what we kind of talked about way back here. And the idea that we got was from silver and Bitcoin. So comments, Laugh out loud. Oh man, the Bears. Go Hawks. Okay. You're on Team Tom over there. Good morning, Jesse. Kirk Cousins will not lead the Vikings to a championship, brother. I'm sorry, good guy, but no killer instinct. This is not breaking news. This is not breaking news, G-Ron. We know that, and it's disheartening because the one thing, and we'll get sidetracked just for a second here in football, since the demographic seems to be 97.5% male according to YouTube. Anyways, not that my wife isn't a diehard 49ers fan, so females definitely could, but for this channel, it seems like it's a higher percentage of guys, and guys watch a lot of football. But Kirk Cousins, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league, if not the most accurate quarterback in the league. The problem is, and I've been talking about this since day one when we got Kirk, was that 1 out of 3 plays break down in the NFL, it seems like, and 1 out of 3 plays that break down for Kirk Cousins, and it's not like a perfectly clean pocket or play to be accurate quarterback. We see fumbles and we see interceptions, we see sacks, and then we see it over and over and over again. And it seems like he's an early riser. He must get up at 4 a.m. because he does a lot better, typically in the morning games. And then by the time you get to a night game or the afternoon, it's proven all the way back to Michigan State that he doesn't do as well. So I think he needs to sleep in more, and he'd be better for the longer term games. Go Hawks, but 3 yards in the second half. Oh, yeah. 4K mod snipers. Yes. According to my analysis, Bitcoin will go to 120,000 soon. Okay. I know I've been seeing 120,000 soon since all through the bear market 2022 and 2023, and here we are. We're still in that bear market, so it takes time for the ship to get turned around. And if price goes back to 120,000, I don't think it's soon. I think it would take more than a year and a half for the ship to turn around. It would take momentum to build up, and the hype train to get built up, just like every other bull cycle. And it probably wouldn't, if it does go to that 120, over 100,000 to that 120,000 that you're talking about, 4K mods, I think it would be middle to end of 2025, right? Similar to the end of 2021, end of 2017 and 2013. So, 5 years minimum. Okay. So yeah, I mean, 120,000 soon. I was thinking that you meant like this year. That to me, that's soon, right? So if we were to get that high of a price, I think it would be the next bull run, and it would be 2025. But we got to get through the bear market first, and then the next halving, and go through this correction first before we worry about price making an all-time high, or price even making a newer high in 2023. Because the high right now is like 31,800, and we're in correction mode right now. So we're looking for a lower high to be put in with a potential deeper correction to these longer targets. So that's what I'm kind of watching first, and we'll continue to watch that play out. Please comment if you want me to chart anything. I usually do that in the back half. I'm going to keep going through some charts, 15 to 30 minutes, as we always do. Definitely look at the NASDAQ. It's battling a potential lower high. We'll see if it happens or not. May drop down to lower time frames on that one. Take a look at it. So we'll do that for like the next 15 minutes or so. And then the back half, 15 to 30 minutes. Comment if you want me to look at something. And if you type in a symbol, let me know if it's crypto, stock, and the name of the asset with the symbol. Just helps me for search purposes in case I don't have it pulled up on the Sniper Top 40. Most likely I probably won't. And so comment it with the full amount so I can search it quickly, and I don't waste a lot of time doing that. So ETH. Okay, well, I know ETH. Oro, ETH, NASDAQ. What about NVIDIA? Okay, yeah, NVIDIA's on there. 4K mod, so we'll definitely cover that one. let's look at the NASDAQ. So this is the daily chart. It's still on this, it's still above this longer term upward trend line, right? But we did have this bearish divergence, had a lower high, and now we're going to find out if this was another lower high. As of right now, it bounced off of that trending line, and the trending line's up. So it may take some time to potentially roll over, and there is this smaller gap here at 15,000. Call it 300-ish, 15,300, and you can see it on the lower time frame. You can't see it on the daily chart. You can kind of see it. It's a smaller gap, and then you got like this target area confluence here, and then we'll find out if it's going to break down, maybe even back test, put another lower high. It takes time to play out, and then see if it comes down lower from there. So the NASDAQ weekly chart looks like this. Pepe, USDT. Okay. So the weekly chart still, again, had that longer term bearish divergence that could have been cleared out already. But then you have the RSI sell signal, and then we're just going to see if it's going to roll over from here. And that would be, in hindsight, that would be a lower high, right? So we're going to find out if that's a lower high. RSI comes down, price comes down, hits further targets, and then you're in a full trend reversal change of the weekly chart for a longer period of time. And then we would be looking to map out, target here, probably a target somewhere here, and possibly all the way back down here. And then we'll see after that. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, saying that the NASDAQ is going to for sure crash and go to zero, right? So we're just going to take it level by level, all the way down, or if it finds support and bounces, because we want to play the swing trades on each one. So if we do drop down to a lower time frame, like the 4-hour chart, this is what I was pointing out in the hour chart. There is bearish divergence being picked up from the indicator on the 4-hour chart, right? So you got bearish divergence. And you got a confluence target box here. There was a 4-hour sell followed by, a quick bounce back up. Could put in another lower high on the 4-hour and then continue to roll back down, right? So this is the NASDAQ futures. And it could be a coincidence that, the futures contracts end in 2 days. So maybe the price gets held up for a couple more days. And then the futures contracts will, at least the ones I was looking at yesterday, the next contract expirations for futures is December. So maybe price gets held up for a couple more days, and traders either have to close their positions or roll those positions over to December. And so it'll be interesting to see. And then through December, we'll see if it's a downturn, to hit this target, and then watching this longer term upward trend line, see how it does. Maybe it finds support here at this target box, bounces, and then rolls over after that, right? So we'll see. As of right now, you do have bearish divergence and a confluence box here. And of course, the gap at, I have it right at 15. It's probably closer to 15,315 if I redo it. So, Ocean, how you get a reversal candle? Oh, it's on the indicator, Aldo. It's coded in. So, there's a couple different, indicator codes or things that watch that, combines into it. And, but one of those has to do with RSI. So, most of the indicators are based off of relative strength. We've really taken a deep dive on relative strength. And, after studying it and back testing it and going down that road, I haven't gone away from RSI. I continue to go down that path and continue to try to build upon it. So we got some crypto Mike. Hey, Jesse, you think the bonds will continue to rise? I believe bonds are about to crash and the impact on the dollar will be huge. I was looking at that crypto Mike. I was looking at the 10-year treasury this morning in the past couple of days. There is bearish divergence on the 10-year treasury, and I have pointed that out on Twitter and the Discord. And so there could be at least a shorter term correction on the 10-year treasury. And the eyeball test this morning was, it's close to like 4.3% on the 10-year treasury. And it looks like it possibly could, retrace back to the 4%. As of right now, the weekly chart is still bullish, but there is longer term bullish divergence on the weekly chart as well. So we could take a look at that quick as well. But it's 9:20, so let's try to get through some more charts. Let's look at them from the weekly standpoint for overall direction. DXY, not much has changed on the weekly chart. It's slower moving pace. And then we'll try to hit, some of these charts. We'll have to go through them a little bit faster since there's so many, because I don't think I'm going to get through them all. But I could go back through on the comments and do a chart for each one in the comments. I could do it on Twitter as well. So if you're watching this on Twitter, I can put the charts there as well. So if we can't get through them all. Weekly chart is still bullish. The trending line is still trending upward. 2 targets have hit so far to the retracement to the upside. Still have 2 targets that remain. VIX isn't really doing much. Still going through like a potential bottoming phase on the weekly chart. So not much is happening after it hit the 1 target. NVIDIA, I know that was one of the ones to cover. The weekly chart has longer term bearish divergence, right? Longer term bearish divergence. We've talked about this. And then we had an RSI sell signal. And I'm sure there's, a pending MACD bearish crossover. So let's take a look. MACD, let's see. Nope, not pending. See if there's a MACD bear crossover on the weekly chart. Yeah. So there's also, I don't keep all the indicators checked on, but there was a bearish MACD crossover back here in August. And as we know that, after a longer term bearish cross or bullish cross, price could bounce in one direction or the other prior to, hitting lower prices, right? So there is a bearish MACD crossover on the weekly chart for NVIDIA as well. Uncheck that. Just kind of keep the chart a little bit cleaner for viewing purposes. So it is looking like it's potentially rolling over, but as I say, there's been longer term bearish divergence, and there could be continued longer term bearish divergence. So a higher probability is when price puts in a lower high, right? So when price puts in a lower high, that's going to be your higher probability of a reversal. You still have this longer term upward trend line. So you can see price come down, bounce, possibly put in that lower high, and then roll over and look at, hitting this target, and potentially filling that gap. If you look at the daily chart, Solana, Sol, crypto, got it. Thanks, Rex. Appreciate that. So had the bearish divergence also on the daily chart, as you can see, and this looks like the lower high. I'm sorry, that's a lower high in RSI, but it's continued bearish divergence. So the indicator is not picking it up because I'd have to change the settings to a higher candle setting, and then most likely the indicator would pick this up as well. So this is continued bearish divergence. So once that lower high is put in, that will be that higher probability short position on NVIDIA. So maybe you're looking at something like this, even spike back above the trend line and then come back down and then start hitting those targets, wherever it is, maybe a back test, something like that. Could be like that, or, again, something more like this, bounce, put another lower high, and then further downside. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at and, watching it, playing it out in real time. ahead of time. Even a lot of speculation on this channel. You're gonna find that a lot. Is there's a lot of speculation going on, and a lot of times it does work out, and but it doesn't. It definitely doesn't work out perfectly every time, and will never be 100% accurate. So, um, but we'll continue to speculate and see how things plan out and adjust in real time. That's NVIDIA. Let's keep going. Apple, let's take a look at it. Still bearish on the daily chart. You can see, there was another. So this was another, similar to NVIDIA. You had the bearish divergence followed by a big move down. That was a pretty big move down from, this wick down to this wick was 13% correction. Doesn't sound like a lot if you're like in small caps or smaller crypto assets or tech stocks or anything like that. But Apple is was like a $3 trillion asset. Sure if it's on there. Average volume market, $2.75 trillion currently. And, I think it was like close to a $3 trillion asset. If anyone wants to comment and correct me on that, feel free. I'm not sure exactly what it was or at the very top wick or the peak, but it's currently saying that Apple is a 2.75. So a 13% correction is pretty big, right? And then we're talking about a price rally. Jesse, your thoughts on Apple products? I mean, I have an iPhone, but I'm on Windows here, and I'm on. I have a Samsung monitor, curved monitor. I have a Dell monitor, and I have a laptop here that's it's got Windows base as well. So, anyways, a lower high was put in, so you had this bearish divergence followed by a correction, followed by a lower high, and so that would have been your higher probability short if that's what you're doing. I did not take a short there, and then now you're seeing the trending line overall. So let's take a quick look at the weekly chart, get the overall direction. The overall direction is trending downward. There was a long upward rally. So if you look from this pivot point down here, January 2023, it was a nice rally, and the peak was July 2023. So a solid, call that a 6-month rally. And then you've got this bearish divergence even on the weekly chart, followed by a lower high on RSI and the price chart, partially filled gap to 0.45%. And now we have another pending sell signal in the weekly chart. So what that tells me is that we're continuing to stack probabilities that we're going to see lower prices on a retracement for Apple, right? So pending sell, today's Wednesday, it wouldn't become a sell till Friday's close. So maybe it won't be a pending sell by then, but if it's not this week or if it's next week, you've got the trending line slowly coming down. So it just takes time, right? So we'll see if price comes back down, hits this target, obviously the next target, I put a question mark there, and then see how low it goes from there. That's Apple. Silver, I want to take a quick look at that. Not much has changed. Talked about that. Gold, still a pending sell. Had peak, you had a lower high, looks like another lower high, and everything's still kind of in a downward trend for gold. So seems like the probabilities continue to stack of hitting the second target. So we'll see how that happens. Thoughts on new Apple products? I don't know. I don't really keep up. Apple was roughly 3.06 trillion. Thanks, Colson. I appreciate that. Yeah, I thought it was right around that $3 trillion. I think I heard people talk about it. I don't remember checking it out right at the top wick, but I was interested in what it was. So thanks for commenting that. I appreciate it. New Apple products. I haven't, I don't know. I'm not like a tech guru, and I'm on the border of I'm a generation X-er, so I'm not always like up on the newest technology. I still have like a iPhone 12, so once I get it, I like to stick with what I have. But so I thought you said Apple products, but I have an Apple iPhone. But new products, I'm not really sure what the new products are coming out right now, but uh, nothing has like captured my attention. But maybe I just haven't seen it yet. So maybe you're talking about crypto, Mike. You're talking about something specifically about Apple products coming out. I'm not really sure, but nothing that's really caught my eye for excitement. 10-year treasury. Let's look at that since someone mentioned it and I was looking at the other day. So there's other reasons why I look at the 10-year treasury, but one is also, two things. One, is the money cheaper for like corporations to, borrow and get money and cheaper money to help grow their business. But, coming from the real estate and mortgage world, of 17 years, then I always followed the 10-year treasury, because the 30-year mortgage rates would follow like the similar chart pattern as the 10-year treasury, and so I always followed it pretty closely, being in the mortgage and real estate world. And so, looking at this from a neutral standpoint and trying to always stay neutral and not being biased one way or the other, there is bearish divergence that we've talked about on the daily chart, right? There is continued slight bearish divergence. And, is this a lower high that is getting put in? It's too early to call it. The trend is still trending upward. It's still currently bullish, but it's starting to look like a potential lower high. But like I said, it's too early to call it. It would almost be guessing at this point. But at the same time, sometimes you take those chances. Not that we're trading the 10-year treasury, but for this specifically lower highs, right? So if you look at the weekly chart, similar thoughts, right? You have this longer term bearish divergence, and this would be additional bearish divergence. So you've got bearish divergence going all the way back to May 2022 on the 10-year treasury. And it can remain with bearish divergence. So it can remain diverged. As you can see, it's been more than a year of divergence. So just because there is divergence, doesn't mean that it won't continue to be diverged. And currently, the 10-year treasury is still bullish on the weekly chart. And so you just have to think that it's bullish until it's not. But there was bearish divergence, and it looks like continued bearish divergence at this current time. So again, if it does break down and then puts in a lower high, maybe around there, this is a potential. If it's not going to continue to be bullish, it could come down like this, kind of put in that lower high, and then you would see some sort of a retracement, possibly, right? Obviously the we'll have shorter term targets. I was looking on the daily chart. I think there's one at 4%. The eyeball test, 3.5%, and then if it's a longer term trend, then you'd be looking at possibly all the way back down to like 3%, stuff like that. So, but as of right now, it's still bullish, and you would think that you would want to wait for a lower high to be put in. John, do you have time to give an update on Tesla chart? Man, you love Tesla. Tesla daily charts over there, huh? I don't know. It's 9:33, and there's a lot of other ones, a lot of other requests. So I'm going to try to go through those other ones first. And at the end of the day, and I do that 25-minute, let's get those likes in, everyone. Yeah, thanks, John. I appreciate that. If everyone could like, comment, and obviously share. And if you're commenting, you're a subscriber, so I appreciate you subscribing to the channel and stuff. Also, this is live streaming simultaneously on Twitter and YouTube. So if you're watching this on Twitter, comment, like, and repost there as well. Or if you want to do both, hey, I wouldn't be mad at that. So I would always appreciate your support and try to help as many people as possible. Right, that's the whole point. Um, okay, so that's pretty much it for what we're going to cover on the charts. 9:34 a.m. Now let's dive into the requests, and we'll just go back up to the top here. Let's see. Florida, Emerald Coast. Awesome, Arnold. Yeah, I thought you were in Florida. I was pretty sure from our conversation in the Discord. Austria, Seattle. Yep. Football talk. Yep. Gold. Yep, covered that on the weekly chart at least. So, it's still bearish, Arnold, on the weekly chart. Saw that. Oro. I'm going to guess Oro is Arnold, is Oro crypto or stock? Let's see. Oro. Let me type this in here. Oh, gold futures. Oh, okay. Well, we covered gold futures. Oh, gold. You wrote that. Yeah, we covered gold futures already. So I know it's a different symbol, but it's probably going to be very similar, anyways, across all like gold overall. So if you want me to look at a specific chart more, Arnold, just tag me in the Discord, and I'll give you a couple of update charts there if you want. Longtime sniper in the Discord. So happy to do that. All right, what's next? Nvidia did that one. Ethereum, another one. Arnold, how many do you have? Nasdaq. Oh, covered that one. So Ethereum. Let's see. Probably going to look similar to Bitcoin, but let's take a look at it. I should have Ethereum already on the Sniper Top 40. Let's see. Where are you? Probably just easier to search it. Yeah, let's just search it. Crypto. Bitstamp. Let's just do Binance. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So this is the weekly chart on Ethereum. And as you can see, it's still bearish, right? So the weekly chart is also rolling over very similar to Bitcoin. But one thing I would point out that is different for Ethereum is that it looks like it put in a lower high. So you had this peak here, and then you put a lower peak in. And so one of the things that I always do, like if it's kind of hard to see, change it to a line, right? So that's something I did a lot before we had like like in the recruiter coaching, I talked about this for trying to help spot divergences. I said change from candles to a line to help spot it, but also it helps with highs and lower highs and stuff like that. So if you kind of draw it out like this, and then kind of like that, right? So in my opinion, you've got this high and you got a lower high here. So now it's in this correction mode, and this is the weekly chart. And if you just kind of like drew out like this overall direction down, and you've got the trending line also continuing down. So you've got like they line up pretty good on a regular basis, right? So the actual trend line and the trending line, or the circles. So if I change it back to circles, I just call it the trending circles. So that's Ethereum right there. So let's go back to candles. But overall, it's in a downward trend, and you can see that we had this reversal candle. Now I think the settings are still on Yeah, 40 and 60. And typically it's on 30 and 70. But like I said, I gave an explanation of why I changed it. And you can see that you had that reversal candle and it looks like a lower high. And it's bearish right now. So let's look at the daily chart. Maybe you're looking for like a potential bounce. So very similar thoughts to Bitcoin, where um, the weekly chart is bearish, but I do see bullish divergence on the daily chart, and maybe Bitcoin is leading the way, and Ethereum is lagging time wise, right? So that's what I would say on Ethereum, and this is very common. Um, a lot of times, Ethereum or Bitcoin will lead the way for each other, and in this case, it looks like Bitcoin is kind of leading the way for Ethereum to the upside. So, could see that very similar retracement to hit some other targets, put in another lower high, and then continue back down to lower targets. So you got some bullish divergence, right? Bullish divergence, retrace back up, hit some targets, run into some resistance, and then see if price rolls back over and puts in another lower high, right? Another lower high. So we'll see. That's Ethereum. Where else let's see, we got 20 minutes. So I'll try to go a little bit faster to get through everyone. I don't know if I'll be able to. There's a lot. Oli. Hey guys, what's up, Oli? All did I say that right? Oli. Oli. I like and I subscribe, but I can't share because everyone is scared to trading or doesn't understand it. Oh, you can still share it. Put yourself out there and still share it. What's your chart on keeping Cooper Cup on my fantasy team? Colson, Cooper Cup is on my fantasy team, and I moved him to IR, so he's a stash for now. It's too late. I drafted on like the September 2nd, that Saturday, and I drafted him, and then information came out afterwards. So he's a stash now. I'm definitely not dropping him. I moved him to an IR spot. I drafted him in the second round, so hopefully he comes back with a vengeance after 4 weeks and still worth it, because when he is healthy, he does average like 24 points a game in standard points. Not to get too far off track. John, laugh out loud. I'm not sure if you're commenting about talking about Tesla all the time. Thanks, Jesse. Really appreciate you. Thanks, Ricks. Appreciate you. Ex Rams fan. X. I wish I could be an ex Vikings fan, but I'm loyal to the bone, and unfortunately too loyal. Andre Britz, yo Jesse, what's up, Andre? Thanks for coming back. All right, let's get back into it. Thanks for all your comments, likes, retweets. Oh, sorry, I know that's naughty. Reposts on Twitter. I mean X, right? So those are mistakes, Elon. Don't ban me. Let's see. Where was I at? Where was I at? Gold, oro, ETH. Okay, ETH. Ocean. All right, let's do Ocean. I almost positive Ocean is not on my Sniper Top 40. By the way, the Sniper Top 40, has if you're in the recorded coaching, the Sniper package, we have alert bot system with about 20 crypto assets and about 20, stocks and futures all There we go. Shout out to Tom Seattle for saving the day. Accidentally hit the mic and muted myself. So you missed that whole stream part. Sniper Tom has got the hotline for me and texted me a quick shout out that I muted myself. And now I'm seeing the comments. Jesse, you are muted. There we go. Yep. Classic Jesse. I didn't see the comments, and I was on a ramble talking about you guys didn't miss anything on the charts, so that's the good part. But you did miss that possibly. I'll just say it real quick. That got the we've got the anniversary coming up. This is the 3rd week of September and stuff like that. So didn't really miss anything else. Didn't miss anything on the charts. So missed the ramble. That's about it. So we're good. All right. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for everyone in the comments for letting me know. Accidentally hit the mute button on the mic. All right. So Ocean. Let's zoom out on the weekly chart. Someone had me draw this out, and I must have drawn this channel a while back, and it's still kind of right on it. Let's look at it on the weekly chart. Maybe I'll redraw the channel, the downward channel. But overall, it's a downward channel, right? So let's see, kind of draw this out like this. It wasn't technical difficulties. It was error on my side. And if you watch me for any length of time, I'm definitely going to have some blunders like that. Trust me, I'm not a robot. I'm not a tech machine. I am human, and I will make blunders like that. But thankfully, the sniper community, let me know in the comments. But I saw the text message come through from Tom Seattle, so he's got me on the hotline over there. So I appreciate that. Tom was in the live coaching. Tom's been following me on Twitter for more than 2 years. Tom's been around as one of the number one supporter. Tom's got Tom's got his own wisdom channel in the sniper community. And he always makes my day when he posts in the wisdom channel. And we appreciate that. He's ultra successful. He sold his business and retired. And very, very smart guy, a lot of wisdom, and we appreciate his posts in the wisdom channel. We don't pay him for that. He does that out of the kindness of his heart. He enjoys it, and I can't wait for that next post. Tom, where are you at? Make sure we get a new post. I can't wait for that. I know you're back from vacation. Congratulations to your daughter again, and all that stuff. So, all right, let's keep going. There's 10 minutes. I may run over because I want to get some more of these in. I've been rambling, even with the mic off. So let's jump into it. Ocean is still overall bearish, right? So is it finding support at a key area? It could be, right? This could be a low. And if you're really into like horizontals, right? Horizontals, this would be a weekly horizontal line. Well, I could change it, but just for purposes of saving time. So, it looks like it's broken out of this downward trend. Like you've got like a breakout here, then it came back in. It's kind of going sideways to break the downward channel. And so this would be kind of like you're kind of lying in the sand. Like if you're bullish long term on Ocean and you feel like it's going to reverse, there's no reversal right now. In fact, you could probably redraw the downward trend line, and you can see there's a lot of like, cases to be made that this is actually the downward channel now. You're kind of watching like this, but you got the overall downward trend. RSI is continuing to trend downward. You got the RSI EMA, getting into bearish territory as well on the weekly chart. So I'm not seeing much of a change there on the weekly. On the daily chart, also, there was a sell signal on the daily chart, and it's still trending down. So everything overall on the weekly and daily chart is trending down in Ocean. So that's what I'm seeing. Oh man, you muted yourself. That was yep. Sorry about that. Typical Jesse. You're on mute. Unmute. Your audio went out. Audio. Oh man, Jesse. 2 minutes of a ramble. There we go. 3 minutes. And then I saw the text. TRB USD. Before that, let's go back to what else? What else did you guys want to see? I saw Tesla, Apple. We did those. Solana. Rick's always big supporter. We're gonna do Solana. Let's do that right now. If I see you guys supporting me all the time, I wanna support you back. So I definitely wanna help those who help me. I appreciate it. I'm like I said, I'm a very loyal person, and I feel like I'm a very giving person and helpful. I try to be as helpful as possible. And I can't I can't be everything to everyone, but I definitely want to support those who support me. So where's Binance on here? I don't see Binance on here. Probably has more history on there. But let's look at Qcoin. I'm sure I have it on here, but I don't have it currently as organized. So I just typed it in instead. But Solana should definitely be in the Sniper top 40 because it is on the bot alert system for the stock and crypto screener. And so it's definitely should be on here. Quick quick scan. There it is. Right there. Right there. Oh, move the drawings. Okay. So daily chart is still bearish, right? The overall trend is still trending downward. Did it find support at a key area? You're looking at it from like, no, I mean, that's just kind of like the eyeball test, but it's still overall downward trend on Sol, right? Weekly chart is still overall bearish, right? So had the RSI sell signal, had a actual sell signal back here on in middle of August, so more than a month ago. We got a pending bear cross, a pending MACD bearish crossover, right? So doesn't mean it can't bounce. Like what happens a lot with the MACD, and a lot of people get it's one of the most popular indicators, especially for beginners. And what happens is, especially on the longer term, you get that bearish crossover, price kind of bounces back up before the trend continues downward. So, it's convergence and divergence, right? So you're looking at that. It could there could be a point where it kind of bounces back up and then resumes back down. But as of right now, it's still bearish on the weekly chart. If you look at the daily chart, it's still bearish. Will it be bouncing similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum? Possible, but I'm not seeing bullish divergence on the daily chart like I did on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that is one key difference is I'm not seeing bullish divergence on the daily chart for Solana. So, overall trend, if you're looking for a buy, obviously you'd probably be waiting for prices to kind of break out here, and then maybe that would be a buy. We can look at a lower time frame if you're looking on lower time frames, but even if there's a bounce, even on the 12-hour, it's still bearish, but there are signs of showing life. So if you look at the 8-hour chart, maybe there's a RSI buy signal. I mean, you're getting pretty low at that point on the time frames, and then the problem is with the lower time frames, you're going to start seeing a lot more fake outs. So you better have your plan dialed in for trading. The lower the time frame you go, the more you better be dialed in, especially if you're using leverage with crypto. So just be aware of that. But as of right now, still bearish. Maybe some signs of hope on the 8-hour chart or lower, like the 4-hour chart. Yeah, there is a pending buy signal on the 4-hour chart, but that might not mean too much if the overall higher time frame charts are bearish, right? That's Solana. All right, what else? Solana, we still got time. Tesla, I still keep seeing John with Tesla. What else? I've been following you since 2021, Jesse, on Twitter. Awesome. What's your Twitter? Tag me on Twitter. I probably recognize your Twitter, but like I said, it's hard for me to keep track of your Twitter name, your YouTube name, possibly your Discord name, your email. It's hard for me to keep track of all that. I can't. So, tag me on Twitter. If you've been following me that long, I definitely want to follow you back. So I appreciate all your support, 4K mods. Let me know who you are on Twitter. I definitely want to follow you. Anyone who's supporting me and reposting my stuff, subscribing, all that stuff. Pepe. Okay, I got you. Sorry, I missed that one. I saw that one earlier. MTLC. I'll take a look at Pepe. Before we get off, it might go over an hour. Usually I can handle about an hour and still get a bunch of stuff done on the back end. Marcus, have been trading very difficult lately. When is it going to get better? Andre, when it's up only, when it's a bull run and it's a bull cycle, everyone becomes an expert. Everyone is a buy the dipper, and you don't have to buy the right dip. Buying the dip becomes much easier, and it feels like you can do no wrong. So the next bull run, say if we get a Bitcoin bull run, maybe it starts in the halving or right before the halving, and then it continues onward, and then we're getting to end of 2024, 2025, and everything. Yeah, I'm Carlos on Twitter. Okay, still tag me and let me know if I'm Carlos. I feel like I'm following a Carlos, and I know a Carlos long term. So just tag me because I'm not seeing it on the YouTube comments here. So definitely want to be around people who've been around me that long and support me. So I appreciate it. So when there's another bull run and prices, you're going to see all the experts come out of the woodwork, right? So in the meantime, it's a great time to kind of hone in on your skills. And if you're going to be doing swing trading, I still believe the daily chart is a low enough time frame for swing trading, but there are certain assets that are trading more in a wild manner that you may want to drop down to a lower time frame. But the lower time frame that you drop down, the more you want your skills to be dialed in, because there's a lot more fake outs, false signals, and reversals, right? Because liquidation games get played out, and they're more noticeable on the lower time frames. All right, Pepe. I don't think I have. I'm 99.9% sure I don't have Pepe on my top 40 watch list. OKX. I don't think I've ever. Let's see. Let's take a look. And if there's a better exchange and you want me to chart something, because this doesn't have a lot of May 2023. Yeah. I don't think Pepe's been around that long, but typically I don't trade assets that don't have a lot of history. Just me personally, I like to stack probabilities in my favor. So when you don't have a lot of chart history, this is the daily chart. There's not a lot of data to kind of pull from. So I am a risk taker, but I'm a calculated risk taker. So I do like to see a lot more trade history. So maybe there's a better exchange, but there's really you can't really get a feel on the weekly or the monthly if the exchange is only since May 2023. So let me see if, for purposes of, let me see if I can find a better exchange. Maybe Binance has more history, but if there's not a lot of history, yeah. So it seems likely that, it's a brand new, I've heard about it recently this year. So if that's all the history that there is on the weekly chart, there's really not much to talk about on the, on the overall trend, other than you can see that, it wicked up here, and ever since, uh, you know, very similar to like an IPO, like the IPO on a new stock for Coinbase, for example. Coinbase IPO'd and shortly after hit all-time highs, and it's been a downtrend ever since. So basically, if you weren't an early investor before the IPO, you got rug pulled, right? So, and then there was like one more chance to get out on Coinbase, and then after that, so this is very similar to like a Coinbase IPO, where if you weren't an early investor before getting onto all these larger exchanges, crude oil, Brent, MEXC. Oh, MEXC. Let me take a quick look. I know we're at an hour right now, but we had 3 minutes with the mute button on. So I'm gonna go over just to make sure we get this. All right, Pepe, MEX exchange. Okay. Man, MEXC is like the most aggressive exchange. They are always hitting me in the direct message to like promote them. I don't promote any exchanges. I don't have any paid affiliate links whatsoever. I, I don't want to promote something that I don't fully believe in or trust. And so if I'm not behind, the closed doors, or if I don't know the ins and outs, or, for example, Bybit hit me up in the direct messages again, like it's a daily thing that they want me to collect commissions. How can I believe in Bybit? How can I push Bybit exchange if I'm in the US and I can't even use Bybit, right? So, I'm not sure about MEXC, but they're a very aggressive exchange, which kind of puts up a red flag to me because they're trying to give away 50% commissions to me. So if I did promote MEXC and had a link, every fee that you, it sounds crazy that I don't do this, but every fee that gets paid to them, they would pay me 50% to be MEXC. So I don't know. I just don't trust the exchanges, especially after like June 2022 when we were watching all that unfold. I just don't want to put my name. You only have one name, one reputation, and so I want to protect that as much as possible. But man, they make it very enticing, and they're very, very convincing with that 50% commission. But I haven't caved. So still, I mean, there's basically one more month of history, but still not a lot of history here on the weekly chart. And ever since, call it the IPO or when it got listed on the exchange, if you weren't an early investor, you basically got rug pulled, right? So you had like a couple weeks of a pump. So let's drop down on the daily chart, see if we can find something for you to look at. So if you weren't very early, right? If you weren't very early, like back in here, and you didn't take profits, ever since then, it was back in a bear market. You can call that a bear market. That looks like a typical bear market, right? A longer term bear market. So it peaked May 5th. In the US, it's what, Cinco de Mayo. It's a big date in the US, Cinco de Mayo. But May 5th, I don't know if that was by design or not, but it's coincidence, I guess. Cinco de Mayo, it peaked, and ever since it's been in a downward trend. So there's not much really to tell. You can see on RSI, it's ultra bearish on the daily chart. So it's still ultra bearish. I'm not looking for like I'm not seeing a reversal on the buy signal there. It's a downward trend on the daily chart. Let's see what else. 12 hours. Ultra bearish on the 12-hour chart. Still really bearish on the 8-hour chart. I mean, there's really no signs of life. You'd probably have to drop down to like a 1-hour chart or something to even find it. And then at that point, you just got to look at the overall trend, the weekly, the daily, the 12-hour, the 8-hour chart. There's not even enough history for the monthly chart. It's all bearish still. So not seeing anything on Pepe. What else? Probably not going to get back to Tesla since I did that 25-minute video for you, John, on the newsletter on Saturday. So I did 25-minute video on Tesla. So I feel like, but yeah, you're so persistent over there every day. Persistent. Let's just take a quick look, but I probably won't spend too much time on it. It is trending upward still. You've got you still have this gap up here. You got a gap down here. That's the thing about Tesla. There's a lot of gaps, right? But it does hit key target areas often. Like that's one thing I can say about Tesla is it definitely hits the sniper targets on a regular basis. So the daily chart still currently bullish, but is this going to be a lower high, or is it going to actually come up and fill this gap first to put in that lower high, similar to Apple? Maybe it'll be a partial gap fill, but there's no gap fill yet. Or will it come back and fill this at a later time? That's the thing. Not all gaps get filled, but they work great as targets, and they don't tell you when the gaps are going to get filled. So we just have them on as targets and an awareness. And if it lines up with our sniper targets, hey, that's putting one more check mark back into it. What else? I'm gonna call it. It's been over an hour. It's been an hour, 7 minutes. Thanks again for all of everyone's support. Thanks for letting me know in the comments that 3 minutes I was on mute. Thanks for Sniper Tom for sending me a text message and letting me know, so we weren't continuing to be on mute. That would have been a disaster. But 3 minutes, I guess that's not too bad. So if you're watching this on the recording, hopefully you can just bypass those 3 minutes and move on. But with that said, thanks again. I appreciate you. And this will go into recording, and I'll see you on the next one. All right.